Captioning 1, 2, 3. Mic test. Test for captioning. 1, 2, 3. Mic test. Mic test. Test for captioner. 1, 2. Test for captioning. 1, 2, 3. Captioning test. 1, 2. Mic test. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Mic test. 1, 2, 3. Mic test. Checking loud and clear. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Mic test. 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing for captioning. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Please be seated. It is my honor, as president of the University of North Georgia, to welcome you to the Spring 2017 Commencement Ceremony. On behalf of the entire community, I extend warm and sincere congratulations to each of these fine scholars and to their family and their friends. Our hopes and our dreams are with you today. This is a day of celebration for our graduates, but it's also a day of celebration for our university. As we begin our ceremony, please join me in thanking Dr. Brian Dawson, Faculty Marshal, and Dr. Joe Chapman for the inspiring processional. Will you all please stand? I would be remiss if I did not recognize all of the mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, partners, children, grandparents, other relatives, and friends who stood behind our students and assisted them throughout their college careers. Thank you. Thank you for supporting our students. And students, today is a wonderful day. Here you are donned in academic regalia, whose design dates back to the Middle Ages and symbolize your achievement and commitment. The right to wear these robes is an honor that must be earned, and indeed you have earned that right. We are here to honor you with the richest tradition of the academic community, a commencement ceremony celebrating the completion of your degree and the beginning of your professional lives. The University of North Georgia holds a special designation within the University System of Georgia as a state leadership institution. As such, UNG has a strong reputation for producing civic, professional, and military leaders. And our graduates are known as individuals committed to high personal integrity, civic engagement, community service, and of course, academic excellence, the things we value. I trust that the foundation you received through North Georgia will be a catalyst to your future success. I know that as a graduate of North Georgia, you will add value and meaning to many, many lives of those around you. Again, once again, congratulations on this incredible milestone in your life. Please welcome UNG students Lacey Gilliam and Camden Pruitt, who will now come forward to lead us in singing the national anthem. Please stand if you are able.
Who be seated. It is my honor as the Vice Provost to join President Jacobs in welcoming you to today's ceremony. When I reflect upon the experience you have had at UNG and your determination to achieve this goal, I am reminded of the story of the Apollo 13 space mission that was recounted in a movie several years ago. Apollo 13 was programmed for 10 days, but it suffered a system failure en route. Jim Lovell was the commander of the Apollo 13 flight. He and the crew, working closely with ground controllers, conserved the crew's electrical power and water and converted their lunar module into a lifeboat of sorts, allowing them to survive in space and return to Earth. Lovell is credited with saying, "There are people who make things happen, there are people who watch things happen, and there are people who wonder what happened." To be successful, you need to be a person who makes things happen. As a UNG graduate, you have the knowledge and critical thinking skills to solve challenging problems. You have learned the value of teamwork, perseverance, and leadership. You will make things happen. As one of the university's academic officers, I recognize the important role of our faculty in helping you to identify and develop these skills. I commend our faculty for their commitment to our students' personal and professional development and for their leadership and dedication to their disciplines. Would all the members of the faculty who are here today, including those on the stage, please rise so that we can recognize you. Please join me in recognizing these faculty. Before we continue with the program, please allow me to introduce the remaining members of our platform party. Will you please stand as your name is called? Mr. Mac McConnell, Senior Vice President for Business and Finance. Dr. Billy Wells, Senior Vice President for Leadership and Global Engagement. Dr. Janet Marling, Vice President for Student Affairs. Dr. Richard Oates, Vice President, Gainesville Campus. Mr. Jeffrey Tarnowski, Vice President for University Advancement. Dr. Christopher Jesperson, Dean of the College of Arts and Letters. Dr. Carol Adams, Dean of University College. Colonel Brent Cummings, Professor of Military Science. Ms. Wendy Hughley, Director of Alumni Relations and Annual Giving. And Dr. Brian Corrigan, Professor of English and the reader for today's ceremony. Thank you. It is now my honor to introduce our guest speaker for today's commencement ceremony. Rhonda Rich is a best-selling author and syndicated columnist who exploded on the national stage over a decade ago with the book, What Southern Women Know and Every Woman Should. Now in its 33rd printing, that book launched Ms. Rich as a storyteller who rivets audiences with tales of the South as seen through the eyes of its people. Her latest book, There's a Better Day A-Comin', is a personal accounting of encouraging stories of people who have triumphed over tribulation and setbacks to push through adversity and find a better day. She is also the author of the best-selling What Southern Women Know About Faith, What Southern Women Know About Flirting, My Life in the Pits, a critically acclaimed memoir of her years in NASCAR racing as a reporter and publicist, and the novel The Town That Came A-Courtin', which premiered in 2014 as a television movie. Alternating between humorous, sentimental, and wise, she delivers a punch of Southern life through her weekly newspaper column to more than 1 million readers who revel in a story well told, often one that is entwined with a moral or a lesson learned. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Rhonda Rich.
Graduates, what an exciting day this is. The studying of the past 4 years is over. But the true learning from life has just begun, because the greatest lessons you will learn come not from a book, not from an iPhone, not from Google. They come from life itself. On the Sunday that I graduated from college, on Friday night, I had one of my first real lessons in life. I had spent college years working as a sports writer. I became the first woman to cover SEC football full-time, the first woman to win top Associated Press sports writing honors. But on the Friday night before I graduated from college, I had my first of first. I became the first woman in the Chicago Cubs locker room. And I can just tell you it's quite an experience when a young girl sees her first bear cub. And he later becomes a member of the National Baseball Hall of Fame. But today I'd like to share with you some of the top lessons that I've learned. And I hope that one or two or more will help you along the way. Be bold. Chase your dreams. Dreams do not care where they're conceived. It can be a one-room shack in the middle of the Appalachian Mountains or a penthouse in New York City. They only care where they are delivered. And today, you start to chase your dreams in earnest. Here in this gym in Dahlonega, Georgia, in the foothills of the Appalachians. You can go anywhere from this moment in time, from this place, wherever your dreams will take you. Life owes you nothing, but if you invest in it with hard work and passion, it will pay dividends. Be honorable. Meet your deadlines and your obligations. If you say it, do it. If you promise it, keep it. Along the way, people will not keep their word to you at times, but don't sink to that level. Keep your word and your commitments always. Be loyal. Never leave scattered in your wake the people who have loved you, who have believed in you, who have invested in you. Last year, my husband and I worked with Dolly Parton on a project for NBC. She's an incredible woman, and she's very loyal. If you started out working for Dolly Parton 40 years ago, you still work for her today unless you died. Because she knows that loyalty and success goes together. Judge your own life by the length and the strengths of your relationships. All relationships will not last, but good people have good relationships that last for a long time, and troublemakers have no relationships. The majority of your relationships should be good and strong and firm. Write your own checks, do your own bookkeeping. My husband and I know a lot of people in Hollywood who used to be rich and famous, and now they're just famous because they entrusted their money to someone else. Be kind. Every day, make it a mission to share a moment of kindness, whether it's to open the door for someone or pay a toll for the car behind you. My husband and I were having a terrible morning the other day. We had been scattered with dishonesties and troubles and unkindnesses. We went into a restaurant late in the day, and there was an elderly woman sitting across the restaurant. The waitress came to our table, and the first thing I said was, "Bring us her check. Don't tell her who paid it. Because we've had so many unkindnesses, we want to put a kindness back into the world." And it changed our day, because you really do reap what you sow. You get what you settle for. If you're willing to settle to be mediocre, that's what you'll get. If you're not willing to settle, you will get better things. Believe in yourself and in the best that you can get. It matters how you dress and how you present yourself, regardless of what the world may say. People don't know you until they know you, so they only know what they see of you, and it gives you an edge in today's world. A handwritten thank you note can be the greatest currency you will ever hold in your possession. After a job interview, send one to the neighbor next door. And the most valuable thank you note you will ever send will be for the job that you don't get, because they will remember that, and it will open doors for you. Engage with people. Listen to their stories. Look them in the eye. Have conversation. Ask questions. Be curious. Learn from their lessons in life. I'm a firm believer that we all have lessons that we have to learn, and we learn them either through the journey ourselves or from watching other people go through them. And I will tell you that you will find you would much prefer to learn it through their troubles than through yours. Network and build your relationships. There will come a time, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, where if you have invested and you have networked and you have built your relationships, you should be only 2 phone calls away from anyone you need to talk to. My niece always says that her 2 phone calls are to me and whoever I need to call. But the people that you're starting out with now are starting out too, and one day they're going to run companies and be doctors and politicians, just like many of you will be. And one phone call through a relationship shared over many years will help you. When I called the gravel company to order gravel for our farm, the Ronderosa, the lady I talked to, I went to high school with. She always helps me make sure that it's delivered quickly and promptly. A friend of mine who started out in an entry-level position 20 years ago, and over the years we've helped each other when either needed help, was just promoted a couple of weeks ago. He is now the boss of the power company for which the Ronderosa is served. I sent him a text and I said, the good news is you've been promoted. I'm so happy for you. The bad news is I have your cell phone number. And whenever we're out of electricity, you're the first one I will call. I want to share a story with you. My first book, What Southern Women Know That Every Woman Should, was the subject of a 4-day bidding auction in New York between 5 major publishing houses. That book went on to become a runaway bestseller. And after it was such a success, New York came to me and they said, now what are we going to follow this book up with? It needs to tell stories like you tell stories. It needs to be very Southern. And I said to them, well, I would like to do a book about my life in NASCAR. I spent 10 years on the NASCAR circuit as first a sports writer and later as a publicist. And I realized that my greatest lessons came in that garage area. They didn't come from my education. They came from life itself. Lessons in dream chasing, generosity, kindness, loyalty. And they came from mentors with the names of Earnhardt, Elliott, Waldrop, Petty, Childress. I said to New York, I'd like to do a collection of these lessons and share with people. It's my most critically acclaimed book. The New York Times called it one of the greatest sports books ever written. And today I want to share with you my favorite lesson in all of my life. I hope that if you ever, graduates, find yourself with your back up against the wall, if it looks like you cannot win, if it looks like that there is no hope, that you will think back to this moment in time and you will remember this story. It is the story of the 1989 Daytona 500 when I had the unparalleled pleasure of being the first publicist in NASCAR history to represent 2 cars sitting on the front row of the Daytona 500. One of my drivers, Kenny Schrader, won the pole, and he was rocket fast. He was so fast that he was 1.5 miles an hour faster than Darrell Waldrop in second. Waldrop, though, was just a tick of the clock faster than Earnhardt in third, and Earnhardt just a tick faster than Bill Elliott in fourth. That is to say, they were all very close on speed, all except for Kenny Schrader, and he was driving a rocket ship. All week, as we went forward toward the Daytona 500, it was evident that unless Kenny Schrader broke or blew an engine, there was no beating him in the Daytona 500. All week, he won every race. He practiced a few laps, came in, closed the car up, went to the hotel. But Darrell Waldrop is married to one of my best friends in the world, Stevie Waldrop. And the week before, we had been in Daytona to test for Chevrolet. After the testing ended, Darrell and I had sat on the pit wall as the sun set over the speedway. And very poignantly, he talked about growing up poor in Owensboro, Kentucky. He said, you know, I've only had one dream all of my life, and that was to grow up and win the Daytona 500. He said, I used to sit on the porch of our house waiting for my dad to come home from his Pepsi route. And every day in my mind, I played winning the Daytona 500 over and over. It's the only dream I've chased all of my life. I never dreamed of winning championships, but I've won 3 of them. I never dreamed of being one of the winningest drivers in NASCAR history. All I've ever wanted was to win the Daytona 500, but I can't make it happen. I've won a dozen races here at Daytona, but never on a Sunday afternoon in Daytona when it counted most. And if I don't win this race, my heart will never be full, my life will never be complete, because I won't have the dream I've chased since I was 4 years old. It means everything to me. On the day of the race, true to prediction, Kenny Schrader was running off and leaving the field. There was no catching him. I was in Darrell's pits with Stevie, who was scoring for him. That's when you keep the fuel calculation, and Stevie Waldrop pioneered it. No one was better at scoring than Stevie. With 50 laps to go in the race, Darrell's crew chief came over and he said, if this field stays green and we don't have a caution flag for fuel, is there any way we can beat this field on gas? Stevie ran the numbers on her calculator. She ran them again. She said, it means going 7 laps further than the rest of the field can go on a tank of gas. Jeff said, well, what do you think? And Stevie Waldrop, who is the most conservative person I have ever met, she will pray for 2 weeks before she tells me I have a run in my hose. She said, go for it. They radioed Darrell and said, okay, we only got 1 shot. If the field stays green, we can beat them on fuel, drop back, and draft. Now, on a super speedway, the car that's in front breaks the wind resistance. It takes more gas to go through the wind, but it splits it. And the cars that come after it can tuck underneath each other's bumpers, and they're suctioned along. It's called drafting. I practice it going down the interstate all the time. Get behind a transfer truck and you can fly. So Darrell dropped back, took full advantage of the draft, everything to save fuel. 9 laps to go. They're all close to being out of gas. Kenny Schrader dips into the pits and brings the leaders in with him. Everyone came in except for Darrell Waldrop, and he stayed out. With 7 laps to go, CBS began to take it seriously that Darrell Waldrop was going to do such a foolish thing and try to go to the distance. They sent their cameras to the pits to film. They wanted to get our crestfallen reactions when he ran out of gas. You see, it was scientifically impossible. He could not last the distance. Stevie and I clutched hands, and she said, pray, pray, and I did. When I got home, my brother-in-law said, I saw you and Stevie Waldrop praying on national television. I just have one question. Do you think God cares who wins the Daytona 500? Well, we believed he did, so we prayed. With 5 laps to go, Darrell Waldrop radioed in. I'm out of gas. Set the pits up. I'm coming in next time by. Jeff Hammond jumped on the radio and he said, Darrell Waldrop, don't you dare come into these pits for gas, because if you come in, we're not giving it to you. You stay out, because we're either going to win this thing or we're going to finish last, but we're not going to settle, because you get what you settle for, graduates. Darrell Waldrop stayed out. We knew it was just a matter of time. 4 laps to go, 3 laps to go, our hearts in our throats. And then, with 2 laps to go, coming out of the second turn, Darrell Waldrop hit the button on his steering wheel that would send his voice from his mouthpiece to our headsets, and before he ever spoke, we heard it. We heard the car as it spit and sputtered, running out of gas. And when at last he spoke, he cried. He said, this is it. I'm really out of gas this time. I just lost the Daytona 500 for the 17th time. And as his tears fell, ours began to fall. It's sad to watch a man's dreams go dry, dreams that he had spent 40 years chasing. He had raced tens of thousands of miles to get to that one checkered flag, and 3 miles away from touching that childhood dream, his dreams were out of gas. Jeff Hammond jumped on the radio, and he said something I shall never forget. It was a gray, cold, overcast day that February 18th in Daytona. And to this very day, when my own days are figuratively gray and overcast, I remember Jeff Hammond's words. So simple though they were, he said, "Don't give up. Don't give up." Darrell Waldrop had already gone 5 laps further than science said was possible for him to go. He was out of gas. We heard it on our headsets. There was no hope. It was over. Jeff Hammond said, "Listen, buddy, here's what I want you to do. I want you to jiggle that car and see if you can find any gas in it." Now, jiggle is a scientific NASCAR term. But Darrell knew what it meant, because the back straightaway at Daytona is equivalent to a 4-story building. So Darrell came down the front straightaway, weaving from top to bottom. He coasted into the 3rd turn, Schrader gaining on him second by second. He coasted into the 4th turn, Schrader only 2 car lengths behind him, setting him up. The slingshot past him, coming down the front straightaway, take the white flag and on to the checkered flag. But as Darrell Waldrop came out of the 4th turn, it leveled out. And when it leveled out, at the very same spot where Dale Earnhardt would later lose his life, a miraculous thing happened. The car found fuel. And as he came by us to take the checkered flag, he didn't spit or sputter. He purred perfectly. It takes 55 seconds under race conditions to travel 1 lap at Daytona International Speedway. And to this day, we are all in agreement. It was the longest 55 seconds of our lives. But Darrell Waldrop took the checkered flag on that childhood dream and ran out of gas 25 yards from the start-finish line. They had to push him to winner's circle. And that day I learned the greatest lesson of my life, graduates. I learned that you don't always have to be the best to win. You don't have to be the brightest, the smartest, the most talented. You don't even have to be the fastest to win the Daytona 500. The fastest car, the fastest by far, finished second. Sometimes to win, all you have to be is willing to take a chance, a gamble, step out of the box of comfort and security you'll come to love, and like Stevie Waldrop said, just go for it. And sometimes to win, all you have to do is don't give up. Darrell called me when he read my life in the pits, and he said, "I cried all the way through that chapter where I won the Daytona 500. He said, Stevie looked over at me and said, "Why are you crying? You know you won." He said, "But I was crying because so many people in life never have their dream. They crawl into bed, and figuratively they pull their security blanket up to their chin and they stay there. And where would I be if I had done that?" You see, Darrell Waldrop, one of the winningest drivers in NASCAR history, tried 28 times to win the Daytona 500, but he only won it once. And it was on that day that he stepped right up to the line. He looked losing squarely in the eye, and he stared it down. And that day I learned that success, that victory, even when science says it is not possible, is always possible as long as you don't give up. Kenny Schrader called me and said, Will you please stop telling that story about how I finished second in the Daytona 500? I said, well, you know, Kenny, they say the world never remembers who finishes second, and I'm determined they shall never forget you did. But graduates, remember this. Be passionate in what you do. Do only what you're passionate in, and you'll never feel you've worked a day in your life. Kenny Schrader loves racing. He loves racing so much he'd race 24 hours a day, 7 days a week if he could. He followed his passion. One day, several years ago, he was out in Kansas City working under the hood of a car, and someone turned the car on. It grabbed his finger in the fan belt and severed it. They grabbed the thumb, put it on ice, took Kenny and the thumb to the hospital. The doctor came in. He said, I got great news. I can reattach this thumb. Kenny said, okay. He said, now to reattach it, we're going to do a skin graft. We're going to sew it into the palm of your hand. When the graft takes, we'll take the stitches out. You'll be good as new. And Kenny Schrader said, but that's the hand I drive with when I'm shifting. And the doctor said, yeah, so you'll just need to miss a few races. And Kenny Schrader said, for a thumb? And the doctor said, well, yeah, after all, a left-handed thumb is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Kenny said, I don't care. I don't have any time to be missing any races. Throw the thumb away. So they threw the thumb away, and Kenny left the hospital. The next week when the race ended, Michael Waldrop pulled up beside him and gave him a big thumbs up. And Kenny responded with a hand gesture of his own. In closing, graduates, my best piece of advice for you is this. As you go forth into the world, let those who love you, who believe in you, who have invested in you, be your inspiration. Let the people who don't believe in you be your encouragement. God bless you, each and every one.
Thank you, Ms. Rich, for sharing your stories and for encouraging us to be bold, to chase our dreams, and to never give up. Among our graduates tonight are students who have surpassed the academic standards as set forth by our faculty, and it is my pleasure to recognize these honor graduates for their commitment and dedication. The names of these students are listed in your program, and they will be recognized individually as they receive their diplomas. Will you please hold your applause until all groups stand? Will the baccalaureate students who are graduating with a grade point average between 3.90 and 4.0 on a 4.0 scale please stand and remain standing? These students are graduating summa cum laude. Will the baccalaureate students who are graduating with a grade point average between 3.70 and 3.89 on a 4.0 scale please stand and remain standing? These students are graduating magna cum laude. Will the baccalaureate students who are graduating with a grade point average between 3.50 and 3.69 on a 4.0 scale please stand and remain standing? These graduates are graduating cum laude. Thank you. Members of our Corps of Cadets who ranked in the top 20% of more than 5,000 cadets on the National Order of Merit list will graduate as distinguished military graduates, the highest honor an ROTC student can achieve. Will the distinguished military graduates please stand? Thank you. The UNG Honors Program cultivates a community of engaged scholars who have demonstrated excellence in academics, service, and leadership. Completion of the honors program includes involvement in activities outside the classroom and service to the institution and the local community. Will all graduates who are members of the UNG honors program please stand? Thank you. Academic honor societies recognize students who have excelled both academically and as leaders among their peers. Will all graduates who are members of university and department academic honor societies please stand? Thank you. We will now confer the degrees. Will the candidates for all bachelor's degrees please stand? President Jacobs, I present to you the candidates for the bachelor's degree. Each of these candidates has completed the requirements of the degree as set forth by the faculty, and I recommend these candidates to you for the conferral of their degree.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University System of Georgia, I award to you the bachelor's degree with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining, and I welcome you to the community of scholars. At this time, please move your tassels from right to left. Congratulations.
You may be seated. Will the candidates for all master's degrees please stand? President Jacobs, I present to you the candidates for the master's degree. These candidates have successfully completed the requirements of the degree as set forth by the faculty, and I recommend these candidates to you for the conferral of their degrees.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University System of Georgia, I award to you the master's degree with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining, and I welcome you to the community of scholars. Congratulations.
Please be seated. We will now call forward the graduates to be recognized individually. I invite Dr. Brian Corrigan to take his place to announce the graduates. Ms. Amy Beard of UNG's Young Alumni Board will greet you as you leave the stage and welcome you as new alumni of the University of North Georgia. Marshals, please lead the graduates forward.
We now present the Bachelor of Science degree graduates from the College of Arts and Letters. Corey Holcomb Allred. Rachel Allred. Alexander Gregory Ball. Second Lieutenant Bethany R. Barber Gleason. Second Lieutenant Mason Campbell Barge. Elizabeth Ashton Bailey. Natasha Alexandra Basto, cum laude. Melanie Marie Battleson. Second Lieutenant Colin Thomas Beasley, cum laude. Eleanor Booth, cum laude. Alyssa Helen Borillo. Mary Alexandra Bowen, cum laude. Maggie Ann Brewer. Barbara Elizabeth Bryson. Brent Donovan Callahan, summa cum laude. Megan Margaret Elizabeth Carlisle. Second Lieutenant John Dominic Caruso. Brandon Lee Cash. Carla Chapman, cum laude. Megan Shavala. Catherine Coyle. Jennifer Renee Clark. Second Lieutenant Christopher Wayne Cowell, Jr. Rebecca Daly. Melinda Jane Davis. Second Lieutenant Daniel Dershay, magna cum laude. Jessica Lynn Dutton. Alexandra Eden, cum laude. Liam Edwards. Sarah E. Ewing, magna cum laude. Second Lieutenant Alex Malin Kazunori Izuka. Danica Janae Faison. Second Lieutenant William Edward Ferris IV, cum laude. Marissa Fish. Second Lieutenant Garrett Christopher Floyd, cum laude. Rachel Victoria Fountain. Chandler Gaston. Robert Blake Gobert. Margaret Ann Gaylor, cum laude. Megan Elizabeth Gibson. Lauren Ashley Gill. Destin Gillum. Second Lieutenant Matthew Atkinson Glass. Joseph Gomar Arazola. Abigail Ariel Goldstein Gray, magna cum laude, honors program. Brooke Griggs. Taylor Nicole Haygood, cum laude. Samantha Marie Hefner, summa cum laude. Kelsey Hand. Rachel Ellen Harrell. April Ann Hendry. Amber Renee Henry. Mary Adeline Henner. Second Lieutenant Joshua Gaines Hill. Morgan Ashley Holcomb. Ethan Noah Howard. Christina R. Yaunice. Second Lieutenant Crystal Gemott. Madison Kelsey Gemus, magna cum laude. Second Lieutenant Joseph A. Camconte. Jennifer Kemp, summa cum laude. Brittany E. Kent, cum laude. Emily Lynn Kidd. Kathleen Michelle Kirkpatrick. Taylor Konishi, magna cum laude. Emily Ann Ledbetter, cum laude. Brittany Nicole Ledford, cum laude. Sung Min Lee. Second Lieutenant Scott Crenshaw Leonard. Katie Lynn. Parisia Elisha Clarit Lofton, cum laude. Anna Jo Lucan. Augusta Marsh, cum laude. Nicholas McFarlane. Alexandra McGowan. Emily Middleman. Sarah Elizabeth Morris, cum laude. Hannah Christine Myers. Jordan Ashley Norris. Mary Catherine Olive, magna cum laude. Lindsay Erin Oliver. Christina Ann O'Neill, cum laude. Jonathan Packer, cum laude. Nathaniel Thomas Ignacio Patton. Eleni Penn, magna cum laude. Janelle Marie Perez. Haley Marie Polk. Connor Wright Powers. Carrie Taylor Quinn. Colin Robert Reeves. Alexander Rhodes. Juan R. Rivas. John Patrick Rourke. Kimberly Marie Rodriguez. Eric Ruben Rodriguez, magna cum laude. Nancy Galvan Rodriguez. Jordan Miranda Scales. Melina Marie Seagraves, magna cum laude. Second Lieutenant Michael Sheely, cum laude. Amber Brooke Shields, summa cum laude. Connor B. Shields. Hannah Gabrielle Schilling. Morgan Alexis Sigelko. Second Lieutenant Ashley Beltonick Sleek, magna cum laude. Chase Behringer Smith. Hannah Kristen Smith. Hallie Margaret Stowers. Second Lieutenant Joseph Manuel Tapia. Katie Elizabeth Tippins. Lauren Lee Toby. Catherine Elizabeth Turner. Randy Marie Warren. Catherine Nicole Wise. Amber Wells. Jake Hawkins Wheeler. Second Lieutenant Brett Lee Williams, cum laude. Lacey Danielle Wood. Emma Young. Molly Young, magna cum laude, honors program. Caitlin Ray McMullen, cum laude. We now present the Bachelor of Arts degree graduates from the College of Arts and Letters. Second Lieutenant Nicholas Allen, magna cum laude. Jason Taylor Allred. Maria Jessica Alvarez. Second Lieutenant Tyler J. Atterbury. Second Lieutenant Seth Andrew Bailey, cum laude. Wesley Mark Barron. Andrew James Barrow. Mary Margaret Benefield, magna cum laude. Alicia Nicole Blackford. Second Lieutenant Garrison Bone. Kelsey Nicole Burks. Second Lieutenant Daniel Butler. Priscilla Jane Butter, magna cum laude. Catherine Eliza Cagle. Callie Brooke Cantrell. Second Lieutenant Benjamin Patrick Sarah, cum laude. Second Lieutenant Charles S. Chang, magna cum laude. Rachel Marie Combs. Courtney Ray Curtis. Dalton Thomas Devers, cum laude. Laura DeJoya, magna cum laude. Second Lieutenant Micaiah Delofano. Savannah Shelby Freeman, summa cum laude. James D. Galt, Jr. Darian Rashad Gibson. Jacqueline Brittany Go. Gavin Christian Greif, summa cum laude. Second Lieutenant Clayton K. Gubler. Carla Rachelle Harbin, cum laude. Kristen Elise Harrison, cum laude. Sawyer Cash Henderson, magna cum laude, honors program. Robin S. Herrick. Devin K. Hayburn. David Hidalgo. Grant Preston Hicks. John Henry Joseph Hobbs. Sally Harkin Tapia. Second Lieutenant Kyle Kampowski, magna cum laude. Elizabeth Kitchens. Molly Maxwell, knight cum laude. Laura Ann Knox. Caitlin Rose Kohler, magna cum laude. Leah Michelle Lanier. Stephen Cole Lassiter. Deanna Dawn Lassiter, magna cum laude. Patricia Elizabeth Maddox, magna cum laude. Kevin Patrick Malay. Second Lieutenant Colin Marnay. Mark J. Martin. Kevin McAteer. Second Lieutenant Seth Gabriel McCormick, magna cum laude. Timothy Noah McDaniel, honors program. Zoe Kathleen Moore, magna cum laude, honors program. Amanda Neiman, magna cum laude. Matthew David O'Leary, magna cum laude, honors program. Chase Parker. Second Lieutenant Daniel Parker. Haley Patterson, summa cum laude, honors program. Tyler Allen Patterson. Second Lieutenant Corbon Peace. Second Lieutenant Lydia Christine Peterson. Second Lieutenant Tiffany Jean Pham cum laude. Second Lieutenant Matthew Quintana. Amy Elizabeth Richardson, cum laude. Leslie Alejandra Rico. Second Lieutenant Marlena Schmidt, magna cum laude. Andrew Joseph Severines. Second Lieutenant Bradley Shaver. Second Lieutenant Jalen Jamal Smith. Richard L. Sosha II. Cassie Renee Thomas, cum laude. Christopher William Tiller. Second Lieutenant Adam Joseph Watts, cum laude. Cassidy Leanne Weber, cum laude. Second Lieutenant Michael Wiley Williams. Marissa Rachel Wood, summa cum laude. Robert Lee Young. Areva Ayina Nake Chienum Zodu Aki. We now present the Bachelor of Science degree graduates from the University College. James Edward Barrett, Sr. Patrick Stewart Little. Grace C. McCurry. We now present the Master of Arts in International Affairs degree graduates from the College of Arts and Letters, Jennifer Harlan. Kelsey Lee Kennedy. John Henry Kimmick. Lauren Michelle Watts. We now present the Master of Public Administration degree graduates from the College of Arts and Letters. Jenna Rose Rogers. We now present the Master of Science in Criminal Justice degree graduates from the College of Arts and Letters. Emily Ann Knox. Nicholas William Mahoney. Sally Jane Parker.
I commend the most recent graduates of the University of North Georgia. Your hard work and dedication have been rightly rewarded. I offer my personal congratulations to you for earning the title of graduate from this fine institution, and I ask that everyone please join me in recognizing these graduates. Thank you. Please be seated. Graduates, judging from the applause, it is clear that each of you should feel proud of your accomplishments. So at this time, I would like the graduates to please join me in a standing round of applause to thank your families, your friends, and others who've stood by you. You may be seated. Thank you. One of the many things that makes the University of North Georgia such a special place is our designation as one of only 6 senior military colleges in the United States. I would now like to call forward Colonel Brent Cummings to conduct the commissioning ceremony for our military science graduates who are commissioning as second lieutenants. These graduates were recognized individually in earlier ceremonies with their family and friends.
It's my distinct pleasure as a senior federal officer assigned to this campus to preside over this portion of tonight's ceremony. Since 1873, this great institution has provided Army officers and leaders for our nation. Tonight, that tradition continues. Would all commissionees please stand and remove your caps and gowns? As they prepare themselves, I would like to personally thank all of the faculty for the education that you have provided to these future leaders. This education they will soon use around the globe as they are faced with the most challenging and complex problems. Commissionees, this oath that I'm about to administer to you is unique and it is special because it is given not to a single man or a woman, a king, a president, or any type of sovereign or ideology. It is given to the United States Constitution, a document which provides us all here tonight and in this great country with our freedom. Our university family and our Army family learned tragic news approximately 1 week ago tonight, when First Lieutenant Weston Lee, UNG Class 2014, was killed in action near Mosul, Iraq. He walked this same stage that you just walked, and he took this same oath. He did his duty. This oath is sacred. I would like to ask all active duty military members here tonight and veterans to please stand with me as I issue this oath of office to these commissionees. Commissionees, come to the position of attention and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full names. Having been appointed an officer in the United States Army. In the grade of second lieutenant. do solemnly swear that I shall support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and I will and faithfully execute the duties of the office of which I'm about to enter. So help me God. Ladies and gentlemen, the defenders of freedom.
Thank you, Colonel Cummings. Graduates, you are now lifetime members of the UNG community. We are confident that you will make your university proud wherever your journey may lead, and we look forward to hearing of your achievements. I now call on Ms. Wendy Hughley, Director of Alumni Relations and Annual Giving, for her congratulatory remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Gill. It's hard to follow that. Congratulations, graduates. Congratulations and welcome. You are now officially a member of the University of North Georgia Alumni Association, and I ask that you wear that badge proudly. It is truly my pleasure and an honor that you're allowing me to share this moment with you on behalf of the Board of Directors and the entire UNG alumni family. If you talk to anyone who's ever graduated from the university, they're going to share that since graduation, they've realized that the learning has only just begun, and we've heard that tonight in those exact comments. It's the day in and day out grind of life that really tests who you are and who you will become once you leave here. Further, they would share that their hard work and effort certainly paid off, and the effort that they put into their classes was critical to their success. But I think it was the relationships that they formed as they managed that journey through school also impacted their success, and in some cases as much as their own individual effort did. I want to ask you to do three things for me, and they're all of the relationship theme as we close out tonight. First, I want you to stop and think and look for or look at the people that you've met that are sitting around you that are also graduating today, your friends. That special friend or study group that you met through the process. Think about these faculty members that sit on the front rows here. They've made a tremendous impact on your life. And they may not have given you the grade you always wanted, but they gave you the encouragement you needed to keep going and the excitement about the subject to finally pick that major and understand why you were here. Think about how these people have impacted your life, whether directly or indirectly, and you know who they are. In addition to celebrating your degree, I want you to celebrate those relationships that have accompanied the journey. Don't forget them. These relationships, no matter the distance, will stay with you forever, and on certain tough days may be all that you need to make it through the next day. Before you leave here, I want you to take one more opportunity to seek these people out and tell them that you love them. Second, I want to encourage you to stay in touch with the Alumni Association. Stay in touch with North Georgia through the social media, the alumni website, etc. Consider becoming an active part of the Young Alumni Board or the Alumni Association. Participate in a shared interest groups. These groups offer a great way to stay in touch and connected with your classmates and your faculty and to meet other alumni, and are a good way to give back just a little bit of your time. Finally, I want you to be a fan of the University of North Georgia. I want you to be proud as I am. As with all alumni, you will see changes over the years. Buildings will change, programs will change, faculty will come and go, many will retire. Some traditions will be lost and others will be born. And one day you will come back to campus and you'll say, man, it has really changed since I was here. Some things have changed and may change again. You're going to be one of the last graduating classes in this building, open since 1960. Some things are going to change, but the essence of the University of North Georgia, even the North Georgia that I experienced graduating across the same stage 27 years ago, has not changed. It has not changed for the alumni that attended 50 years ago, nor has it changed for the graduates of 5 years ago. There's just something special about North Georgia, and it's like a family. And so tonight, again, it's my distinct honor and pleasure to welcome you, our newest alumni, to that family. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. As we conclude tonight's ceremony, I want to especially thank all of the staff involved with the planning and execution of this ceremony and for making it such a special occasion. Lacey Gilliam and Camden Pruitt will come forward now to lead us in the University of North Georgia alma mater, which can be found near the back of your program. Following the alma mater, please remain in place for the recessional as the faculty and the graduates exit the gymnasium. Thank you. And now, please stand.